Oh, damn it. You know what? The other day, I had an idea for how I was going to start the show today.
Is this how we're starting the show, with this anecdote about how you're going to start the show?
Yes.
Okay.
This is how the show is going today. And I completely forgot. I was like, oh, man, like it just came to me and I was like, I'm going to say that at the start of the show. I was going to be like, the HalfGen podcast, home of like something stupid. I don't know what it was. Oh. Okay, rewind.
Okay.
Right. Come back in time with me about 35 seconds. Okay.
Okay, I'm here.
Welcome, everybody, to the HalfGen podcast, the only podcast brave enough to tell the world that Halo Infinite is going to be the best Halo ever made.
There it is. Yep.
There's something along those lines.
Fair enough.
We're the ones saying it, okay? Everyone else is too scared to say it. The HalfGen podcast is out here saying it. We believe Halo Infinite is going to be the best Halo ever.
We do.
And by we, I mean myself, Chris, and Ross, my friend of friends.
Hello.
My fellow hunter.
Indeed.
We'll get to that. I'm trying. There was two ways I wanted to go about this.
I've heard it both ways.
Ross, a package arrived today.
Ooh.
Relevant to our interests.
Oh, our interests. I like our interests.
Our mutual, yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna just use the opening peripheral here.
Hold on. HalfGen podcast video exclusive.
I mean, okay, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I told you, TJ, in his infinite wisdom, bought me a lava lamp.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, unfortunately. He bought me a lava lamp. And I just got a box one day. I was like, what the hell is this? And it was a lava lamp. And I said, oh boy, because I needed this in my life. Ross, let's kind of get right into it. We've been playing Monster Hunter.
Yes,
Rise
we have.
on the Switch.
Yes, we have.
And we're going to talk more about it. But just, for those at home, I've expressed in the past my distant admiration for Monster Hunter. But this game has left me inspired. And by inspired, I mean about $50 lighter in my wallet. Because I bought the Hori Joy-Cons for my Switch.
Ooh.
With which to play Monster Hunter. So live unboxing here. So these things, because I hate the Joy-Cons with a passion. I think they're awful. I will go that far to say they're awful. And I also have Joy-Con drift on my main Switch, which is part of why they're awful. So these things, bye-bye.
The thing I just sent you in Discord is the set that I thought you got. But
no, I saw the Monster Hunter. These were cheaper.
Yes,
that's why I bought these. So let's pop these bad boys up. My Switch is very warm. We were just playing Monster Hunter.
It literally just came off.
Remember how the Switch can just kind of look like a tablet?
Yeah.
Let's pop this sucker on and see how she feels. So the nice thing is, it's just going on like any other Joy-Con, but the feel
is
the
thick.
Hand. Look at that. Look, you can see me in my Switch. I'm on the Switch.
Hey.
Ross, we're on the Switch.
Finally.
I got to talk to Tony and see if he can like take this and make this the image for the podcast. Switchception. But yeah, like these, I'm not sure I'm crazy about the triggers. This is live unboxing / review. The buttons feel a lot like the Pro controller.
Right. And then it has the back. Does it have back paddles on that one?
Yes. Maybe a little more stiff than the Pro controller. But it could also just be that they're not as broken in. You do have the back paddles.
Nice.
Wow, my Switch is like dirty on the back.
I could see you like maybe mapping with your weapon. Do you have an attack that's X and A together?
Yes.
I could see you mapping that to a paddle so you don't have to press both of them at the same time.
Maybe, yeah. It's got a real D-pad.
Nice.
It's an okay D-pad.
Yeah.
It has a turbo button?
Yo. Those turbo trank bombs. Yeah.
Yeah. The plus and minus buttons, nice and rubberized. The bumpers feel pretty good. Like the L and R, they feel okay. Z and R don't have a lot of ZR and LR don't have a lot of travel. They're a little clickier, honestly, than I was expecting. Sticks feel good though.
Yeah.
They're a little loose. No, they're about the same as the Pro Controller. Maybe a little taller, actually. Let's see. Let's put the science to work here.
Well,
that was a delay.
That went. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think they're a little taller via this unscientific method. I think they're a little taller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Are there any other extra buttons besides the paddles on the back?
No, just the back paddles.
And the turbo button, apparently?
Yeah, the turbo button and an assign button.
Assign? Oh, that's probably how you assign the paddles.
Yeah, so like, come on. Work with me, bud. Yeah, you can kind of see it down there. Come on.
Yeah.
There you go. Assign and turbo. I hope I'm not cheating. I don't want to cheat.
Yeah, I've been thinking about getting one of those for a while.
I know about that thing that you're pulling out right now.
Yeah, so in case any Switch owners haven't heard of it, it's a company called Satisfy who make these grips for the Switch that make it feel way more comfortable when you are just holding it in this mode. Basically, the right grip is thicker and goes out, so instead of holding the right Joy-Con like this when you're playing and getting carpal tunnel, it's at the much more natural angle of being out, which is super nice. But I've been thinking about getting the Split Pad Pro for a while.
So I'm gonna make a call right here. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. When docked, I'm still going to use the Pro Controller, obviously. I'm not going to pull out that combined thing and use it that way.
Sure.
Pro Controller, I think, is still 100% the best way to play on the Switch.
It's a great controller.
But given the choice between the Joy-Cons and this Hori controller, throw these in the garbage. Because like, even though I was like, oh yeah, they don't have the same travel as like the triggers on the Switch, on the Pro Controller, the triggers and the like the R buttons on these are awful and mushy and clicky, and I don't like. And these face buttons are bad. They're bad. They're bad. These are bad. People, Joy-Cons are bad. Put that in the title. Joy-Cons are bad. Nobody really likes Joy-Cons. I don't hear anybody out there being like, I really like playing video games on my Joy-Con. Find me one person, and I will show you a liar.
I tolerate it.
I don't need a Pro Controller. The Joy-Cons are perfectly acceptable. I like them better than other controllers. Said no one ever.
Tell us how you really feel about it, Chris.
I hate the Joy-Cons. These feel nice though. And honestly, like there's a good like weight distribution. So like the Switch is definitely, obviously the heaviest part, but like it doesn't feel crazy. Like it doesn't feel like actually there's a lot of added weight. Like it's definitely a little heavier, but holding it from here, it actually feels pretty well balanced. Like I could definitely play Monster Hunter on this. I could see myself playing Monster Hunter on this. And like I like the joysticks. They are a little taller. Oh, there's a sign and turbo on both sides.
Okay. Probably a sign is for each paddle on each side.
Yeah. I like that the buttons are elevated a little more compared to the Pro Controller because they're a little flush on there. But I like the plastic button on the Pro Controller better than like the rubberized feel on this one. I will say that because they have like a little rubberized little nubbin here, which just doesn't feel good to press. I don't like rubberized buttons on my controllers. It doesn't feel good. Plastic buttons. There's a reason that all the main controllers have them. If this had just been an elevated like little piece of plastic with a little better click, because it's just mushy when you press it, you know? And granted, you're not going to be playing or pressing plus or minus or, you know, these other buttons as much, but like even the Joy-Cons have a little nice little clicky button. I just turned on my Switch. Be home. And like, you know, it works.
There you go.
The D-pad's okay.
Yeah.
It's bigger than the Switch Pro Controller. The Pro Controller feels infinitely better. The Pro Controller is the best way to play games on your Switch. This is a very close second. HalfGen says so. That's it.
Put it on the box.
Put it on the box. I have to wait like another week for the case that's compatible with it to come in, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Because there's a case that is compatible, but I'm not in that big of a rush.
Yeah. Oh, you know what is not a good version of the Split Pad Pro is the Daemon X Machina style, because it's very boring. They just made a couple buttons red, and that's it. It's just red and black.
I would have bought that in a heartbeat if it was the lowest price.
Yeah.
I would have bought it in a heartbeat. What do I do with these now? I can't wait till my OLED comes in, because then I'm going to sell these Switches, and I'm going to get rid of this Joy-Con with drift. I hate this thing. How, like, the drift. I hate it.
Yeah.
Why do they have to drift?
You know, all you got to do, buy a super cheap joystick and then just install a new joystick in your freaking Joy-Con, and then it's fine.
Yeah, let me do that for them. Let me do their job. Please, Nintendo, allow me to do your job.
Why does the Monster Hunter ones have to be the most expensive? God damn it.
Because they're always the most expensive, because it's Monster Hunter.
I don't care. I still ask the question because I still want them.
I know that's why you're asking.
They look really nice.
I know. I'm just going to throw those Joy-Cons back there. They're going to like get hot next to the PlayStation or something. I don't know. I like my new setup for everything here. You can't see Rock, but like, you know where my main monitor is right here. Yeah. The PlayStation is now right behind it. The Xbox is to the left of it. So all of my consoles are on my desk now.
Oh, nice.
So everything is right there. I have access to the disc trays. So like I can get at them. The Xbox is a little tougher, but I can get there. Wait.
Yeah.
Which side did I put the disc tray? Was I smart? Yeah, I was. Hell yeah.
Hey. Kind of smart.
Everything's accessible. And I got that monitor hooked up, and that's what I've been playing Monster Hunter on. I played Ratchet and Clank on it. It looked incredible. I've been playing Monster Hunter on it, and it's been really nice. You know, obviously playing a 1080p signal on a 4K screen, not ideal, but it looks good. It's got good color reproduction. Which monitor was it? Sorry, I want to just pull it up real quick. It was the Asus VG289Q. Is the monitor, IPS 4K. None of that HDMI 2.1 stuff, but gets the job done.
Nice.
Sharp monitor. I'm liking it.
Very nice.
But yeah, Monster Hunter is
really good.
Really good. Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch. Very good. Very good game. Maybe the best Monster Hunter. I don't know.
Yeah. It's when it first came out, I was still in that mindset where Chris and I, back in the day, had bought Monster Hunter Tri, I believe, for the Wii U. We played some multiplayer in that, and it's like, nah. And then we never played it again.
We wanted to like it, but we didn't at all.
Yeah. And I think it's like, the case.
Those old Monster Hunter games are like very like, is esoteric a good word for that? Like,
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, I don't know. Like they were just like so far up their own ass.
Maybe. I think that when people like, especially the older games, when people try Monster Hunter for the first time, I feel like 95% of people don't like it, and then they just have to put like a few hours into it to get past that initial like, oh, the combat is very slow and you can't really cancel out of animations, and I feel like you need to get past that point, and then once you do, you either know that it's not for you or you turn the corner and you absolutely love it. And I feel like I didn't give that game enough time. It was also on the Wii U, which I really didn't want to play at the time.
The Wii.
Oh, it that was on the Wii, but we played it on Wii U. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, but so Rise came out earlier in the year. Thought nothing of it. What prompted it? I think it was Nat constantly talking about how much he liked it. And
well, I played the demo originally, and I talked about it on the podcast, and I think Nat said he was getting it. And then I was thinking about it because I really just wanted to get into a Monster Hunter game, and I had heard that this one was going to be a lot more like, it was going to be a lot friendlier for like incoming players. So I was like, okay, maybe this is the one. And so I bought it like day one and didn't play it till this week.
Yeah. And you had tried World.
Yes, I tried World on the PS4. I bought it, tried it.
How much
fell off of it pretty hard. Well, on PS4, I don't remember, but I can tell you on Steam because I don't know when to quit. I tried it again, and I put 4 hours into it on Steam.
Gotcha.
And still didn't love it.
Yeah.
And so I bounced off of it.
Mm-hmm. And here we are at Rise. I bought Rise a week ago today from the time where this will be posted. And we had already kind of planned it as our Tuesday night game with Nat and Tony. So I was like, on Thursday, thought to myself, I'll get through all the tutorial stuff because I wasn't sure if I had to get through a certain amount before I could play multiplayer. So started playing the game. I was like, it's pretty good. And then 2 hours passed. I was like, that's weird. And then I continued to put time, and I think when I logged in today to us to play before the podcast started, I think I was at like 30 hours in a week or something. And I still have like a lot of the single player quests to do. And obviously we're working through the multiplayer quests as well to get to high rank and all that kind of stuff. It's just, it all comes down to finding a weapon that clicks with you. I feel like that's the biggest part of Monster Hunter, because if you don't find a weapon that clicks with you, you're not going to like Monster Hunter at all. But if you do find one that just feels right, like me and Rise with the hunting horn.
I remember Nat was like, I wouldn't start with that. And Ross is like, don't care, doing it anyway.
Yeah, well, he was like, don't start with that. And I was like, okay. And then I got the game, and then I went to the training area and tried all of the weapons out for like a few minutes each. And then I texted our group chat, and I was like, I will furthermore be a hunting horn main. That is all.
Yep.
Because, it mixes support, because it buffs your teammates with the frickin', it's basically a giant hammer. What was the weapon, my favorite weapon in Bloodborne? The sword that turns into a tombstone hammer.
Oh, the Kirk hammer.
Yeah, it's like a Kirk hammer and a guitar had a baby. That makes music and helps your friends, which is
Death Bard.
Death Bard.
Death Bard. That's what I call it.
Yeah, and I was actually kind of nervous for you, because I know going into it you were like set on what weapon you wanted. And when I was playing with Nat beforehand, I was playing with Nat and his friend Raymond. I was like, I'm a little nervous because I feel like if Chris goes in solely focused on this one weapon and he doesn't end up liking it, he's just not going to want to play the game. And he should be open minded and try all of them and see maybe another one catches his
No,
fancy.
I watched all the videos on YouTube.
Good.
I watched every like combo thing, and that like because I had always heard that the switch axe wasn't like a great beginner weapon. But I was just like, nah, you know what? Like that's always kept me away from the switch axe. Like when I played World, I think I tried that first and I didn't know how to do it, so I bounced off of it. But I was like, no, like that weapon sounds really cool. I want to use that. And so, finally I was like, okay, I'm committing. And I was like, because I need to pick a weapon, So I was like, okay, this is going to be my weapon. This is the one I'm going to use. And this is going to be, was going to kind of be the make or break thing of like, hey, you know what? I'm not the type who's going to master all of these weapons. I'm going to get the weapon I want and I'm going to use it. And I really enjoy the switch axe. Hitting those combos and making things explode. Explosion. It's the Mr. Torg weapon of Monster Hunter, and I'm really just enjoying like getting into trouble and then just like latching onto a monster and just being like, yeah, as I'm like blowing him up.
Yeah, and it's just like it's really fun to see when I'm playing Hunting Horn, because I have dabbled in some other ones. When I've been playing Hunting Horn and I'm in there just trying to blunt force trauma the monster's head to death, and then all of a sudden he runs away, but I see a small figure on his back just slicing away as he's running away.
No, I'm not slicing. It's just like sitting there, and it's almost like a gunblade. It's just like boom, 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 and then all of a sudden, just big explosion. I just backflip out and land on my ass, but it's great and worth it.
Yep. So I'll just see him. I'll be playing my music and hitting him in the face, and then the monster will run away with Chris on its back.
Yeah, and I'm just blowing it up from the inside. I always target the tails because I'm always trying to break the tail, so it's just me like on the monster's back, and I'm just like, ah! The monster's like, stop it.
Yeah, it's like the encounters are dynamic. The monsters are cool. Obviously, with this being the first Monster Hunter I've put any serious time into, I'm not sure which ones are all new and which ones are kind of veterans of the franchise. I know some of the ones that are veterans of the franchise just from...
There are a lot of them I recognize from like World and stuff like that.
Yeah. But they're just fun to fight, man.
And like credit to Capcom because this game runs incredibly well on the Switch.
Even with 4-player multiplayer.
It looks great. It plays great. Like I could definitely see it being a problem like in 4-player, maybe on like the handheld screen. Because I definitely feel like it could get too chaotic at that point. But, as it is right now, playing on a TV or, monitor, it looks great and runs well. Like I've been super impressed. I keep looking at it and I keep reminding myself, I'm like, this is a goddamn Switch game. I'm like, they made games 3 years ago for the Switch that didn't run this well or look this good. Daemon Ex Machina. Yeah.
It's like, it's Capcom.
Welcome to frame rate hell. And then Capcom's just like, now we got this.
Yeah. They pulled off some like borderline Nintendo magic.
This has me excited for the inevitable Monster Hunter World 2, because I'm like, man, if they can take some of this energy and pump it into World and do away with that whole like, oh, well, you got to watch the cutscene before your friends can join. Just make it easy and just let me play with my friends. And that's what I want. That's what I want from my Monster Hunter game.
If they do that for like the next like big release, like on like current gen consoles and PC, I could see myself putting hundreds of hours into that game, because I see myself putting at least 100 hours into this one. Because just the loop finally clicked with me of going out, killing the monster, getting parts. Oh, look, I can make this new armor. Oh, I don't have the parts. Go out, kill the monster, get the parts. Oh, look, there was another monster on the map that we killed while we were out there, and that unlocked a new weapon that I could craft. Go out, kill the monster, get the parts. And it's just like, it's literal addiction.
Yeah, I got my first armor set forged, and then I saw like a weapon that I wanted, and I said, Ross, we're hunting this until I can make it. And he was like, okay. And so we hunted down, I don't remember what it was called, but I got the wheel axe, and that's been my bay. Like since then, that thing has just been shredding. I 1v1, what was that? Rathian? I 1v1 to
Yeah.
Rathian in our first rampage. It was at the gate, and I 1v1 that motherfucker. I took him down. It was me and the Rathian. I was just like, one of us is going to die right here, and it's not going to be me. And I killed it, and we won the rampage.
We did.
It wasn't looking good, but I took
No,
I took that son of a bitch down, and I cut it for all it was worth.
Yeah, we definitely set up the entire thing backwards because I thought
Yep.
we instead of setting up stuff as far away from the gate as possible because that's where they needed to go, we set up everything by the gate. So it started off poorly, but ended well enough.
Yeah. The gate was very low, but it did not fall.
It did not fall. And the Rampage, for those who haven't played it, Rampage missions are kind of the new big addition into Rise, which is basically they're okay. They're basically like a tower defense mini game in some ways.
Kind of like what I would expect if Final Fantasy VII did Fort Condor in the remake. It's kind of what I would expect that to be.
Mm-hmm.
Just set up a bunch of turrets and stuff, and then run around on the field and hit stuff with your sword axe.
Yep. Yeah. So Rampage missions are fine, but the actual like levels, the levels throughout the game that you go and hunt the monsters, however many there are, 6, 7. They're decently sized maps, and they're fun to traverse because of the wire bug and the palamute, which are also new additions to the franchise.
I love my palamute. Love my boy.
That they had palicos for a long time, and I'm not a cat guy. And then they were like, have a dog. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll have the dog.
It's no coincidence that the dog made it great.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
It's no coincidence that the dog game is the great one.
And the wire bug has been an interesting experience because a lot of the time it's generally used for mobility, to traverse walls, to kind of shoot yourself across gaps. But each weapon has its own silk bind skills that uses the wire bugs that have special effects. So for the hunting horn, my favorite one that I use is LNA, which basically like I pull back the hunting horn, wind it up, and it like wraps the silk around the end of the horn, and I jam it into the monster, and then I yank it out, and it does a ton of damage. And the other one that I have is like I just tried out the light bow gun in the last mission, and the cool thing about that is that it shoots you basically up and over the monster, and then with the light bow gun, if you press the A button, you basically shoot down a mine, and when it is attacked, it explodes for a lot of damage. So you can use that wirebug skill to basically launch yourself, and then when you're over the monster, you hit A, and it shoots it down into the monster, and then you land on the other side, and then you can shoot it. It's cool. They did a lot of interesting things with those wirebug attacks, which, again, you don't have to use them if you are like a traditionalist and really just want to have that Monster Hunter experience of old. But it opens up a lot of combat possibilities as well as mobility in combat as well. Like, what's your switch axe silk bind attacks that you like?
Well, the one that the one that I was using, and I maybe later I try it again when I could hit it a little more consistently, but it was cool. Like, you'd launch yourself into the air, and then like you would do this slam attack, and if it hit, it would cause like this big explosion on the enemy. The thing was, it's like we were fighting more and more like mobile enemies. So I was like, okay, this isn't working. So I switched it to this other ability that basically makes it so I can't be knocked down until I get all 3 hits of the attack in. So basically, it just gives me super armor, and I'm just spinning and swinging for 3 hits wherever they are, So that's been the one I've been liking. I haven't used my other new one that I just got. Pardon me. I'm sorry, I'm tired. But L plus X is supposed to be like this like charge attack kind of thing. where like I kind of like slide into them, and if it hits, it does like a lot of damage. No, that was the original one. The one I have is the big wind up, and then if I get the hit, it does like good damage.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I also have a wind up.
nice. With the light bowgun, one thing I want to try is that I think I can give you just super armor. That's called armor shots, and it says like makes their skin as hard as steel or something. So I might be able to give you super armor just
That'd be neat.
for your normal attacks.
That'd be neat.
Try that out. But
I would do a lot of damage.
mm-hmm. But yeah, and last night, game nights with the boys, as my wife says, oh, it's game night with the boys. I was like, yes, yes, it is. We played the four of us, you, me, Nat, and Tony, and had a grand old time.
Oh yeah, that was the best game night since the early days of Divinity.
Yeah, just just the chaos of four people is so good.
But it's a credit to that game that like we were able to pick it up and like do as well as we did, me and Tony, as quickly as we did, because we went from like that first mission kind of learning the ropes, and pretty much from that second mission on, like we were contributing, like we were out there, we were doing our part.
Yeah, yeah.
I learned my traps and stuff, so now I'm laying the traps and doing that stuff. I got to get more resources so I can craft trank bombs though.
Yeah, yeah. But and again, credit to the game that even with four people and with three of them being melee, I didn't find myself getting lost in the action.
It does a good job keeping you as like the center of attention.
Yeah. And I think not only is that impressive from a design standpoint of designing these encounters and ensuring that they work for one player or four players or anything in between. I think it's also a credit to the wizardry on the Switch that I haven't really experienced any frame drops that I can remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, like there were a couple times where I thought I might have been seeing one or two, but like they were all like just like a bunch of explosions. So it was never in a situation where it was like, oh, I died because of that. It was just like we would all just hit it with something, and then maybe it would stutter for like half a second. Because like it's just processing all these effects at once, but then it just cleared right up and it was good to go. And my Switch gets mighty warm, but you know what? It's trucking.
Yeah. Yeah.
My launch day Switch is still, well, not launch day, but like launch like first 2 weeks, still doing well.
Yeah, it's a game that I think we will be sticking with for quite some time. Because Nat's already put in like 80 hours or something. I'm at the 30-hour mark. We saw, as we were playing and getting ready to start record the podcast, we saw Tony log on to Monster Hunter 2 also.
He's probably trying to catch up to what we were playing. He probably saw us on and was like, ah, shit.
Yeah. And it's like, what I will say is that I know Monster Hunter is like historically, like people love the multiplayer and playing with their friends, and it is super fun to do that. But also, I played, like before I played with anyone really, I played through the single player campaign, and it was really exciting to just tackle these things one on one a lot of the time, especially because I didn't have the familiarity, because I didn't play World or anything like that. So I didn't really know the patterns or anything. So it was a learning experience, and just making it through each one really did feel like an accomplishment for how poorly I've felt like I've played in Monster Hunter in the past. So if obviously playing with friends is super fun, but don't sleep on the single player either. There's no story really. There's no good story because it's a Monster Hunter game, and that's never the focus. But if you have some free time and your friends aren't online, like the single player village quests, totally fine, and worth doing, because they also unlock a lot of stuff around the town that you unlock if you play through the multiplayer quests as well. But again, you can unlock these things on your own time in the single player version of the game. So all the quests in the game are split up into village quests and hub quests, and village quests are the single player quests where you can't have anyone join, and the the hub quests are the multiplayer ones where you can join with your friends, and joining is very easy and seamless. You just set up a room, and then you talk to the NPC you need to, and you go to friends list. You see, oh, someone's playing. You click on them. It says, oh, view their lobby. Then you can hit enter, and then you can put in the password, and then you're right in there. So for a series that has historically not had the easiest time just letting friends play with each other, they took I think a big step forward with Rise.
Yeah, like it's a credit to them that I want to that I've got that itch to go try World again.
Yep.
And I shouldn't, but like I might.
And I do too, and I never played it, but it is free on PlayStation Plus.
I was just checking, excuse me, because it was on Game Pass, but it's not anymore. It left in I think June.
Gotcha.
But it is in the PlayStation Plus collection for PS5 owners. Just to
yes, that's correct.
To emphasize, you have to have a PlayStation 5, and it's part of that collection of games that you get. You know, of those PS4 like top tier games that you get by buying that console and being a PlayStation Plus subscriber.
Yeah, that's a very good clarification.
Yeah. So if you're on and I imagine the game runs really well on a PS5. You know, because
yeah,
it ran okay on a PS4 Pro. You know, I imagine it has to run a lot better on a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I think I could be wrong, but I think I saw that it had its own PS5 patch.
Perfect.
I think it might have added like a quality and performance mode, like a 60 FPS.
See,
mode.
the thing at this point though that happens is like if we start playing World, do we just switch to World? If we start liking it, because World is bigger.
So, well, base World, I think in terms of like scale of things, yeah, but I think in terms of like monsters, it's pretty similar. Base World is to what Rise.
Well, no, I'm just talking the absolute scale of the game.
Oh,
you know,
scale,
like
sure,
because Monster Hunter, you know, World has like it's like it's huge. You know,
yeah.
So like that's what I wonder is like, do we end up like, do we keep playing or do we just switch to that, or is that just like me and you play that or something? I don't know.
I feel like Rise caters itself very well to like game night because it is easy to jump in. The quests aren't super long all the time. They built the game around the console it was released on, so like the hunts take between like 10 and 15 minutes, depending on if you're gathering a lot or not. I could see us like playing Rise on Tuesdays and then just messing around with World and seeing if we like it. Like obviously it has the whole just confounding design decision surrounding the multiplayer, with where each of you have to watch the cutscenes on your own before you can join each other. But I did see someone make a good point. I mentioned this to you earlier. I did see someone make a good point that as you get further in the game and you're like grinding materials, that becomes less and less of an issue because you're not seeing new cutscenes very much.
Yeah.
At that point. So yeah, I'm not sure. I could see us. I could see us playing both, to be honest, and just seeing how we do with World. But yeah, I finally get it. I finally am in. I am now a Monster Hunter fan. I was never sure if this day would come, but again, one of, if not my favorite console of all time, has provided the gateway to me to further explore the franchise. So, and PlayStation for including that Monster Hunter World in the PS5, PlayStation 4 top tier game list.
I'm very much looking forward to when they inevitably do that sequel to World, and just like
me too.
How much Rise do they borrow? Like you have to assume we're going to get Palamutes.
Yeah, I think that's easy. I think the wire bug is the bigger question mark.
I bet they do it.
Getting that.
I bet they do it.
I hope so.
Because I bet that allows them to be more vertical.
Oh, 100%.
And I bet that they that they design it a little more around that, and they make it a little easier to use.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can build around that. I think that's a thing where, like, in a Monster Hunter World game, I feel like you could expand upon that in a way that like makes it like, you're going to build around using that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're totally spot on. It definitely opens up the level design and allows them to be more creative in terms of exactly how they structure
Monster Hunter
everything.
World 2 is going to have a glider.
It's going to have a paraglider. It's going to be.
It's going to have a paraglider.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to see A, when that comes out, and B, if Rise is going to have a big kind of expansion post what is there right now, similar to like probably nothing as big as Iceborne, but something along those lines of like maybe new biome, new monsters. They're already adding new monsters, but something kind of meaty and substantial.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, it's you got the itch. I bought Monster Hunter Stories 2, so that's on its way because
I can't remember if that's on Game Pass.
That's a good question.
I feel like one of these games ended up on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I'm going to check real quick.
Yeah, I'm curious actually. It's
Boyfriend Dungeon is on Game Pass.
Oh, interesting. Oh,
yeah.
Lumines is on Game Pass. Lumines, that is a good game. If you've not played Lumines.
Monster Hunter. I don't see it.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm in. Also bought Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate for the Switch, which I know is that older style, but just kind of the concept of it, bringing back like it has like 95 of the large monsters throughout the history of the franchise. It has like a bunch of the villages across a bunch of the old games as well, where even though I don't have experience with them, I already feel kind of nostalgic about it and kind of like, oh, that's cool. Like that village is there. I recognize those NPCs, that sort of thing.
I feel like there would only be like the Freedom Village, and I would see that and I'd be like, oh my God, like that would be my thing of like, oh, I know this place.
But
back when I was a great sword user.
back in the old days.
When you had to hit a loading screen to cross zones from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 every time a loading screen, and you'd follow the monsters through them.
Yep, and you'd better hope that your paintball didn't run out on them so you wouldn't lose track. But Monster Hunter took me away from playing more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Once I started Rise on last Thursday, I just cold turkey stopped Ace Attorney because I was just addicted. I played a little bit more of No More Heroes, the original. I got to rank 2, so I believe I have 2 more kind of big boss fights before the end of the game. I would still like to beat that and No More Heroes 2, which I know is a little bit shorter, before No More Heroes 3 comes out on the 27th this month, I believe. So that's a goal. But yeah, it's all in terms of what I've been playing. It's literally just been Monster Hunter Rise and installing Monster Hunter World on my PS5. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. For me, I cleaned up the Platinum and Ratchet and Clank. When I was testing out my monitor last week. So that was fun, kind of getting that done. And, it's an easy platinum, and that game just looks incredible. I was trying to think. No. I was going to play more Death's Door, but then Monster Hunter Rise happened when I was going to play it. I'm trying to think. I played more Mini Motorways.
Okay.
I talked about that on last week's show.
Yeah. Has it improved?
No, I haven't played it since. Let me see. When was the last time I played it? A week ago today.
Oh.
I played it after the podcast last week. And I still like I love that game in the process of playing it. But I can't think of a game where I've ever been like, there are very few games that I can think of where I've been more frustrated in how I lost. And just feeling like I didn't have any control over that. And it really hurts my opinion in that game. And like that losing feels so bad in it. And I'm not trying to come off as like a sore loser, you know, like, but I just don't feel like there's anything I could like, by the time it happens, I either don't notice it's happening because the game is busy. It's a busy game. And the next thing you know is like, it's just a bunch of stuff popped up on the map. And it's like, oh my God, I didn't even see these things. And then it's just kind of like, okay, well, here's this destination and there's just no way you're going to get people there fast enough. And by the time it's happening, it's too late to fix it. So everything's good. And then the next week starts and that's when it all falls to shit. And it's just like, okay, there was physically nothing I could have done in the amount of time I had to react to this that would have fixed it. And it's so frustrating to lose that game because like it's such a great buildup and like you feel so accomplished as you're developing and it's like, oh my God, this is incredible. Like I got really good. Like I started like I was redesigning whole sections of my road. I'm like, okay, too many intersections here. What if I do this and this? What if I loop this around here? Perfect. Like I'm clearing up traffic, like no more honking horns. I'm like, cool. And then all of a sudden it's just one building in the middle just decides, okay, everybody just left here. Now I'm full of supplies again. And there's no vehicles that can get there fast enough, which it's like, I get it. You know, that's on me for how I designed the world, but it was just fine 2 seconds ago. And now it's not?
It seems like a weird design oversight.
Like, it's this feeling of like, it's like driving, okay? You're driving. Everything's smooth. You're having a great drive, okay? And then all of a sudden, you hit traffic out of nowhere. And at the end of the traffic is nothing.
At the end of the traffic, you die.
No, but at the end of you know, it's that stupid traffic where like somebody just crossed 3 lanes and everybody stopped, but nothing actually happened. And then it's just like you get through it, and it's just like, what was the point of that? Like you just derailed my drive. So it's like everything's fine, then it's not, but for no reason.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's frustrating because it sounds like that game is super fun otherwise.
Yeah, and like I enjoy playing it, but it's just like at a certain point, it's just like I can't keep putting myself through this because it feels worse every time I lose.
Yeah.
Because it's like I just want to play the game. Like, and there's no like endless mode. Like I just want to build and like I want to see the game and I want to build the most efficient thing. And I don't like the way they gamified it. You know, I don't think the game, like the game as far as like beginning to end process, I hate that part. I like the actual playing of the game. The mechanics are good and I enjoy it. And, you know, if it's something where they want to like penalize me, if there was like an overall like score and they wanted to just be like, okay, like, you know, if it was something else where like, because right now what they do is basically it's how many vehicles you can get to pick up these supplies and bring them back home, basically. So it's just how many trips can you get done, you know? So like, you know, you want to strive for like 1,000 plus, you know? And I guess I don't know what to do to change that because it's like I honestly I just wish as after it failed, you could keep playing. I wish there was a continue playing option, just so I could keep running my city. Like no game has made me want to go back and like try City Skylines again more than this game, because I just like because like City Skylines won't just end, and if it wants to, I can cheat, you know.
That's fair.
But I just like I want to build those roads and I want to see how many cars I can really get going. And like, you know, if you want to, and then eventually, you know, I kind of just want to play it till I get bored, honestly. That's what I want. I just want a game that I can just play and like get my kicks out of it. And then like, okay, I'm good with this one. What's the next one look like? So even if I could keep going after that, or even if there was a way like a live system where it's like, hey, like a light, not live as in like live game, but lives like, you know, try again. But like a system where it's like, okay, you know, this happened and but you hit this threshold of vehicles, so you get to try again, you know? It's like, imagine playing Geometry Wars and the first time you died, it was over. Yeah. You know, it's just like that. Imagine going like, it's like playing an arcade game, but the first time you die, it's over. And that's the thing that makes it so frustrating, is like when you put the time in, but then it's just like, or the Iron Skull in Halo 2, you know, to start the whole level over. And it's like, you got to where, you know, you feel like you're there and you're vibing, and then something happens that's just crazy and unpredictable, and it's over. Yeah. And you'll never get that run again because it's random. And it's like, there's just, I had a vision and you stole it away from me. Yeah. It's so frustrating because I want to love that game. I enjoy playing it so much. I know, he hates losing, but like, in this game, more than so many others, I really hate losing because God damn it, I can see it.
In case you're new here, Chris really hates losing.
I'm very competitive, but this isn't even a competitive thing. It's not even that.
That's why I don't play many competitive multiplayer games with Chris, because I love him like a brother.
I'm better about, like, you know, when I don't have to be competitive. It's just when I need to be competitive. That's the problem. That's my problem.
That's why I mostly just play co-op games with Chris, because they're way more fun.
The only competitive games he wants to play with me are Smash and Mario Kart, because he can kick my ass. Because he can kick my ass.
And Halo. I like to play Halo multiplayer, which I'm hoping we get into Infinite's multiplayer a lot, because it's going to be the best Halo game ever.
Of course. Said it here first.
Yeah. Demigod.
We got to play that.
We
got to play that. We got to do like a video for that of like a whole match and just be like, we're playing it exactly the way we learned it, which is the wrong way. But...
the way where I click a few buttons over the course of 10 minutes and then the game plays itself for me.
Oh God. But yeah, no, it's not even a competitive thing. It's just like, it's just like, I see the vision and I see exactly what I want to do. And right before I can like fix the problem, it's over. And it's just like, oh, you know, next week I could probably get another motorway and fix that, you know, or I have one, but by the time it's a problem and by the time the motorway is built, the cars are already on the road trying to get there. And the worst part, Russ, the worst part of it all is when the car is pulling into the parking space to pick up the stuff and it fails. The car is pulling in and the store, you placed your order, your mobile order. You pull into the parking lot, the curbside pickup, and the store tells you, I'm sorry, we just closed. You were there. And you had time, but they said, we're sorry, we're not doing any more pickups right now. And you're like, the fuck? Best Buy is holding my TV hostage. That is the feeling. You know, they pull up to the Best Buy and Best Buy's like, yeah, we cut off pickups 10 minutes before we close. And it's like, excuse you? Are you open? Then give me my stuff. I'm sorry. The city's shut down now. We closed. You didn't make it in time. I'm so sorry because you didn't pick up your TV. The city is closed. Los Angeles is dead now. All thanks to you, dark blue vehicle. Los Angeles can't exist anymore. Try Dubai, motherfucker.
They're gonna have to put an edited version of that, but that's a title.
Go try Dubai.
Go try
that one.
Dubai.
Go try
Yep, that works.
Dubai.
Yep, that's a good one.
Oh, God damn it. I love that game and I hate it. I just want to like that game and I want to play it. You have no idea. You have no idea the mixed emotions. God damn it.
I feel like I'm getting a pretty good idea.
Well, maybe you. Yeah, I maybe you do understand now. God damn it. Other than Mini Motorways, I did get the Back for Blood open beta.
Ooh.
The open air quotes open beta, the one that they gave keys for, so it's not very open. Pardon me.
Solid.
Yeah. It was all right. It's Left 4 Dead, but with cards.
Huh.
And that's my biggest problem is when you take a game like Left 4 Dead, and you're like, okay, I'm Turtle Rock. We made Left 4 Dead, this incredibly, still endearingly popular game. We want to make that again. Okay, Back 4 Blood. Perfect. They're going to know it's us right off the rip. Perfect. Okay. How is this different from Left 4 Dead? All right, Phil, I've got it. Go ahead, Steve. Guys, I really like Slay the Spire. Love that game. Slay the Spire, yeah. What if we put cards in Back 4 Blood? How would that work, Phil? Are we playing Yu-Gi-Oh? Are we throwing the Blue Eyes White Dragon, Phil? No. Minuscule passive buffs.
Whoa.
Brilliant, Phil.
Whoa.
Brilliant.
It brings a tear to my eye. It's almost like Metal Gear Acid. Oh,
the CEO loves it.
Yeah, it's his favorite game of all time. Actually, that's why.
The CEO's kid is really into Pokemon. How do we make Back 4 Blood appeal to the kids? The Pokemon are cool. Just put cards in the game.
Genius.
Make some of them rare. I don't know. So like you have a deck, and it's like, and it's funny because arguably my favorite game of this year is a part deck building game, in Loop Hero, but like two totally wildly different implementations. Whereas in Loop Hero, it makes perfect sense and works perfectly for the systems of that game. Whereas in Back 4 Blood, it just feels like this is what makes us different from the game you're already playing.
Yeah.
Because you've still got the big explodey boys, the angry walk on the wall boys, the big, oh, I'm gonna get you boys, like.
It sounds like if you like
wholly
Left 4
unnecessary.
Dead, you'll probably like this.
Yeah,
because it sounds like the cards mean nothing. That they don't drastically affect.
They might in the late game, like in the higher difficulties.
Can you use real money for the cards?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And like the guns have like attachments now, and like you can get a gun with like a broken attachment that like makes the gun worse. So like, in Left 4 Dead, you pick up, okay, here's this shotgun and here's this objectively better shotgun. Now, whenever you're picking it up, they have rarity and they're blue or green and they have different stats. So like, okay, so I'm giving up, 2 damage per shot, but this has better handling and stability. It's basically like they took Left 4 Dead. They pulled a little Destiny. And they were like, okay, so we're going to have all these stats on these weapons, and they're going to dictate how effective these weapons are. Okay, you know what? Whatever. I can deal with that. And then they played Slay the Spire on the bus. And they were like, guys, bring that in, and let's have some fucking cards. And it's just like, it's like Left 4 Dead, but more busy. Left for busy work. I don't know. The game had a weird, like, the game settings were weird. And remember, like, a couple weeks ago, I talked about how, like, some games, when I play them, like, I'm like, oh, I can immediately tell this game is going to make me sick. Back 4 Blood was like that. It had this weird, like, you could turn off motion blur, but it had this weird, like, camera acceleration blur that I had to turn down in the accessibility settings because they had it maxed out. And I was just like, I can't play this game like this. I was just like, I won't play this game like this. Because like I could just feel my eyes getting like, like I could feel the headache coming on. I was gonna start getting like nauseous. It was kind of like playing that one VR game, but like out of VR.
Oh yeah, that was rough.
But not in VR, and that's what makes it scary.
Yeah, that makes it way worse.
Yeah. And like there's this camp where there's like these NPCs and stuff, and they're all like just generic kind of voice acted, like, are you gonna go out and hunt the zombies? Just like, so there's a guy you talk to about your cards, there's a guy who gives you missions and stuff. There's like a little firing range where you can pick up weapons and attachments and fuck around with them, kind of like, Apex's firing range. But it's just like they just kind of added a bunch of like meticulous mechanics on top of it, because they were like, okay, we can't just make Left 4 Dead. I can kind of understand like, hey, the attachment stuff, but you can't take bad attachments off of guns, and like you can change the attachments that are on them, but it's just such like a weird system that it just feels like, you're spending a lot of time worrying about things that aren't shooting hordes of enemies. And frankly, they didn't seem all that smart when I played. Like we played on like the medium difficulty. I think it was like veteran. And like we played the early couple missions that they had, and it just didn't really feel like much of anything. The zombies never really felt like much of a threat. Even like the super zombies, like, in Left 4 Dead, like they don't wait, like they will get you. We had plenty of time to react to pretty much all of them except the like explodey dudes, because they would just like be on the other side of a door and blow up. But like the other dudes, they would just like sit on the side of a building. We'd start shooting them and they'd just be like, and keep getting shot and be like, and just fear.
Did the
I don't
gunplay
think
feel
anything.
good?
I don't think anything except one of the explodey dudes ever attacked us.
Wow. That's not how that's supposed to work.
No.
Does the gunplay feel good?
Feels fine.
Feels fine. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like this mechanic with like these birds, and if you walk over the birds, they'll alert the horde, kind of thing.
Like the krill.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. I think it's going to be on Game Pass. I'm pretty sure.
I think so. That sounds right.
Yeah. And so like I'll play it, but
I'll play it if it's on Game Pass. I'll try it.
I don't think it's going to be anything to write. I don't think Back 4 Blood is the Left 4 Dead 3 people were hoping for. It feels like a game that's going to be different enough that you'll try it, but it feels like a game that's going to push you back to what you already know in Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like a swimming in sevens kind of game.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I feel like that would be the high end that I would be willing to give it. Somebody out there is going to be like, oh yeah, it's like the Left 4 Dead sequel people have been waiting for. And then everybody else is going to be like, hey, did you play the game? Like, come on. My glasses look like they're crooked, but they might not be. I can't tell.
And it's fine. If you're not watching the video, my body is a waterfall of sweat right now. It is so hot. So
your body is a waterfall.
Oh no. Oh no. That's a title. Yep, that's a title.
But yeah, so we'll see what that turns into. They're gonna do another open beta this week. I think it might be starting soon, in the next like day or two. So definitely give it a try. Yeah, it is what it is. Otherwise, I think I've really just been playing Destiny. Because I've been trying. I got my time lost weapon from my Master Vogue, which I was trying to get, and they finished the seasonal story. There were spoilers for Destiny's seasonal story for Season of the Splicer. So Lakshmi too, who I've expressed on this show, I hate, despise, wish she was dead.
Your favorite.
Good news, she's dead.
Oh, look at that.
Because in her infinite wisdom of trying to access the Vex network and trying to remove the Elixni, she opened a Vex gate in the Elixni quarter, and the Vex killed her immediately. So she's dead. Thank God. And no tears shed for her.
I love the last two sentences, how not a lot of people will know any of those words. I love that because I understood every single word you just said.
Wait, which part of that are people?
When
the
Lakshmi
Elixni
2
quarter.
Opened up a portal to the Vex in the Elixni quarter, and then the Vex destroyed her. It's like, oh no, what's happening?
I guess, okay.
Oh, that was perfect.
If they've been listening to this show, they should know by now. You should understand Destiny. You should have a very intimate understanding of the lore of Destiny.
You should know that when we say Vex, we do not mean the third-person character platformer for the original Xbox. We mean the enemy.
Wait, Vex was a
VEXX is like a Jack
I've
and
never
Daxter
heard
one.
of that.
Yeah.
I thought like
mediocre.
I've heard of Gex.
Yeah, Vex. Hold on.
I think Vex from Destiny are more culturally relevant than whatever the hell you're talking about.
Oh, it was on all 3 of the 6th generation platforms.
Really?
Yeah. Here, there you go.
Son of a bitch.
Discorded. Yeah, I had it. It was not great, but I just sent it
from
to you over Discord.
Acclaim.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Remember Acclaim?
It was aggressively okay. Really failing to capitalize on that era of Jack and Sly and and Ratchet, but yes. Anyway, that's our Acclaim Vex sidebar for the podcast today.
Wow. But yeah, so there was an attack on the city. There was this Vex gate in the last city, and everybody's like on the radio freaking out, like, oh my God, the Vex are in the city for the first time. Like, we gotta help. So you do like your regular override mission. You do that. There's a cool cutscene at the end where it's like Saint 14 is, side by side with Mithrax, and the Vex can't hit shit because they have plot armor. But they're just casually talking like, no, we are brothers, we will fight to the death. And he's just like, this is how we will remember you, Guardian, fighting side by side with the Saint. And then Ikora shows up and Nova bombs a bunch of them and winks at the camera, and fucking everybody goes and kills a bunch of Vex. And Osiris is standing up there with his arms crossed like, And then Saint and Mithrax are just like, yes, we have done it. There's this really good meme going around. And so Saint and Osiris are in a relationship. It is lore that they are together. And it's this stupid meme. And it's just Osiris standing up there just saying, go fuck yourself. And then Saint just like standing here like this with the gun in hand. Come fuck me yourself, coward.
Also a great title we can't use.
It's so good. I saw that shit and I just started laughing. It's like, fuck me yourself, you coward. And I can hear them saying. And Saint's so dumb and he's so great and I love him. There's one cool development from that though. Is in that override, there is this harpy standing next to a bunch of terminals, not standing, floating, with a blue eye, and it's impervious and it's not hostile. And it's just kind of chittering a little bit. And people figured out that it was Morse code. And that when translated, it says assistant. So, flashback a little bit to Season of Arrivals.
The administrator from New Mombasa in ODST.
No.
Okay.
Cool, but no.
Also, take a shot. Chris's text went off in the middle of the podcast.
That's the second time.
Yep, I know.
Okay. I didn't realize it would pick it up from over there. It's like way over here.
Oh, yeah.
Shit. Okay. People need to stop texting me. I mean, they know it's podcast day. I shouldn't have to silence my phone. They should just know. Work around me. It's about me.
I'm going to put that as a title in all caps.
So, at the end of Season of Arrivals, we lost a bunch of like planetary vendors. Sloan died, I think, fighting on Titan. What else did we lose? We lost Mars. We lost.
Did you lose EDZ guy?
Mercury.
Up in the church?
Brother, no, he's still there. Brother Vance went into the Infinite Forest and never heard from again. And there's another destination. I guess I just can't. I feel like there's another destination I can't remember. What else did we lose? We lost Mars. We lost Mercury. Was it just those and then Io? Shit, I don't remember. Anyway, we lost Io, and so the last thing we heard from our friend Asher Mir was that he went into the Pyramidion and became a Vex.
My guy.
And Asher Mir always referred to us as his assistant.
Oh.
And so a lot of people believe that he came through the portal and recognized us, which is why he's saying assistant. So Asher is there potentially.
Which also, the fact that he's responding as assistant might mean that he still has his own like thoughts and is in the system, but still him.
So he's fully aware. Theoretically, he could be fully aware that he is still Asher, but as a Vex. But he could be like isolated in this weird way from the rest of the Vex, in such a way that he can come out and just be like assistant, but in Morse code. And he's at like this terminal that looks a lot like the one he was at in Io. So it was a really cool. Also, somebody made the joke last night in my fire team, and they were like, it's funny because Asher only had one arm. Now he has no arms.
Question for you.
Yes.
If Asher's consciousness was put into a Vex robot body, what percentage milk would that Vex milk be in that body? This is the best question that's ever been asked in the history of mankind.
So that really kind of, it boils down to a lot, okay? So it really depends on your opinion of how milky the various races are.
I'm sorry, everyone listening. I forgot Chris says milk wrong, and it drives everyone crazy.
I said milky.
You said that right, but when you said milk the first time, you pronounced it M-E-L-K. That's how you pronounce milk.
I don't think I said it that way.
You did. I heard it.
I think you're hearing what you want to hear.
Sure. Yeah.
Don't threaten me. I'll go down this rabbit hole.
Anyway, he's soy milk.
No. Why is he soy?
Because he seems like a soy guy.
No, he's 2% because the exos are skim. Because they're robots. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Regular humans, 1%. Okay?
Yeah.
Because the Ascendant, 2%. Because they've got like light and dark.
Right.
They're like magical. They're 2%.
What are the elixir? Chocolate milk.
God damn it. See, they're like an almond milk, they're an offshoot milk. See, I said it wrong there.
Yeah. What during the main campaign, the big Warhammer looking guys,
Cabal?
The Cabal, they're definitely just straight up just oak brand for no reason. They're very regular.
They're prune juice.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, they're prune juice.
They're very regular.
Yeah.
They show up very regularly.
Yeah, no, it's good for their health and for their regularity.
Yeah, but it can also make you bloated, which is why they're so big. They're really just bloated the whole time.
Yeah, they're just bloated. They're just uncomfortable. Yeah. That's why
I feel bad for those
They're
guys,
just
actually.
like, can you help?
Yeah, it's like
That's why when you shoot their heads off, just the gas comes out.
Yeah.
You're releasing it. Their freedom. They're just like, yes.
They literally came to Earth because it's the only planet that makes gas X medicine.
Turns out we're the only other species other than these other ones that make guns.
This may be the dumbest tangent we've ever been on, and I started it.
No, we'll do worse. I think we might have done worse in the past.
Probably.
Never past us to do worse than this.
Anyway.
But yeah, so did you make that?
Yep. It's a little wordy, but it's probably the winner.
I thought Go Try Dubai is going to end up being it, but yeah, that might be the one now.
Yeah, just for the sheer fact that we're telling people that this is a bad podcast.
It's not. I don't think it's a bad podcast.
Oh no, it's a good one. Just the title presents it that way.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think just Destiny. I'm at like the weird part at the end of the season where I'm like, you know how most people, like, I kind of took my breaks in the middle, but now I'm trying to get back into Destiny, so I'm like ready to roll when the new stuff comes out. So I'll probably play a lot this week and then take like the last week of it off, and then go hard when the next season starts. So I'm playing a good chunk of Destiny right now. Nice. But yeah, that's about that. Ross, we have some stuff to talk about.
Oh boy.
Ross, we're both fans of Fullbright, creators of Gone Home and Tacoma.
Yes.
And the upcoming Open Roads.
Right.
Fantastic games. So head of that studio, Steve Gaynor, very well respected in the industry, I would say. Right?
Yeah, he was on all those Giant Bomb shows at E3. Seemed like a fine dude.
Yeah, it turns out he's a shitbag.
Yeah, well.
And not just a shitbag, but like a shitbag who doesn't know when to leave, I guess. So Open Roads, this is a story from Polygon. Open Roads is currently behind in development. It's behind schedule. 15 employees have left the studio since development on Open Roads began in 2019.
And Fullbright seems like a tiny company to begin with. I didn't even know they had 15 people.
Around 6 staff members remain.
Okay.
12 former employees said their departure was at least in part due to Gaynor's behavior towards workers, specifically women on the team. And at least 10 of the employees who left since Open Roads production began were women.
Add another one to the list.
Yeah. So apparently he had a very controlling work environment and left staffers feeling undermined and demeaned by Gaynor. And because of his status as the co-founder of a beloved indie darling, some former employees said they were worried about being blacklisted from the industry.
Yeah.
Though some ended up leaving the industry entirely anyway. There was a statement from the Open Roads team. We are a small team passionate about making an inclusive, poignant, story-driven game that gives players a feeling of discovery. We care deeply about creating games that have a positive impact. We are also fervent believers in fostering a work environment that is healthy and collaborative, where we can work with transparency, autonomy, and trust. As such, Fullbright's co-founder Steve Gaynor has stepped back from his role as creative lead and manager and transited to a role as a writer, handing off day-to-day responsibilities to the team to complete Open Roads. We're all excited by how the game is shaping up, and we hope you'll follow along as we continue to share our progress. This was the first thing I saw and was like, okay, that's weird. And then I looked more into it and discovered what was going on from Mr. Gaynor himself in a statement issued to Polygon. Hi all, I have a statement to share about my role at Fullbright. Earlier this year, I stepped back from my role as creative lead on Open Roads. My leadership style was hurtful to people that worked at Fullbright, and for that, I truly apologize. Stepping back has given me space and perspective to see how my role needs to change and how I need to learn and improve as part of a team, including working with an expert management consultant and rethinking my relationship to the work at Fullbright. I care deeply about Open Roads and the Fullbright team. I'm sad to have stepped back from day-to-day development of Open Roads, but it's been the right thing to do. The Open Roads team has my full faith and support as they bring the game to completion.
Yep.
Annapurna, who's publishing the game, is apparently aware of the situation at Fullbright and has been instrumental in helping the Open Roads team make changes to its structure. But here's my issue. is Steve Gaynor, admitting in part some of his issues, but when you read more into it, I want to find this specific part real quick. So, like, the thing is everybody thought, like, this must be this incredible inclusive team because they made a game like Gone Home, which, spoilers for Gone Home.
Right.
I almost don't even want to spoil
No,
Gone Home
don't
because
spoil it.
it's such an incredible game. And play Gone Home. It's truly incredible. So
Gone Home was a progressive game. We'll say that.
Yeah,
in
very
a lot of
progressive,
ways.
especially at the time it was
especially
released.
at the time. Yes.
Because it was prior to a lot of what's going on nowadays. So apparently, Steve Gaynor's Fullbright Twitter was his personal Twitter for a while, and many at the studio were uncomfortable with the fact that Fullbright was doubling as his personal Twitter account.
Oh.
Women in leadership positions at Fullbright told Polygon that they experienced constant micromanagement that made it difficult for them to do their jobs, having to get even the smallest details approved by Gaynor. This was compounded, they said, by Gaynor's tendency to disparage and discredit the contributions of female staffers, in particular, often directly to leadership. Some of the former female staffers said they were worried about how Gaynor characterized them to other employers. This is a quote from one former employer in a leadership position. This is going to sound like a joke, but I'm completely serious. Working for him often felt like working for a high school mean girl. His go-to weapon was to laugh at people's opinions and embarrass them in front of other people. 6 other former employees collaborated this characterization. One former employee said she approached Gaynor after reading a GameIndustry.biz report regarding seasoned developer Scavenger Studios. She told Polygon she saw similarities between Scavenger Studios' creative director Simon Dreveau and Gaynor. While the allegations regarding Dreveau include sexual harassment and groping, no claims of physical misconduct have been made against Gaynor. The former employee said she warned Gaynor that a similar report could eventually surface about him. Like, they were all aware.
Mm-hmm.
And he just, like, won't, like, this seems like a perfect opportunity for him to be like, hey, you know what? Fullbright needs leadership that it can count on. I should step away. But he's just like, no, I'm just stepping back a little. And
I think he has a massive ego.
It sounds like it.
So that doesn't surprise me. But yeah, it's like add another like terrible person to the pile of terrible people that have been kind of revealed as of this year and going into last year. It's just it's sad. It's really sad.
And it's such an incredible shame because he's the face. He's effectively for all these years been the face of a progressive, respectful development house that has taken on challenging subjects and has been, very empowering to women throughout all of their games. They're, Gone Home and Tacoma both have female leads. Open Roads has female leads. Here are these very progressive games in an industry that desperately needed them, telling stories that desperately needed to be told in some cases. And he guy's a shitbag. That's horrible for the people who worked on it because he is so well known and respected among his industry peers, that should not reflect against Fullbright. And I don't think anyone who knows Fullbright is going to do it, but the people who read this, who don't understand what Gone Home is and things like that, are going to see this. And they're just going to be like, oh, well, fuck that studio.
Mm.
And that's bad for Fullbright because they are such an incredibly talented development house. And, they deserve all the positive press they can get. And Gaynor has done them no favors. It's incredibly sad to see. And I feel for everybody, especially anybody who had to leave as a result of that. But I feel for everybody too who had to stay, and it's just they're committed to completing this game for the people, like us who are looking forward to it and want to enjoy that game. I hope this game does not suffer as a result of this. And I don't mean that in the sense of like, boy, I sure hope Gainer wasn't all the talent there. I don't think that's the case at all. I really just hope that this doesn't hurt the team in a way or distracts the team in a way that takes away from that final product. I wish them all the best. I hope they take their time. And if they have to delay the game because, Fullbright's pedigree has proven that they're worth it. So, take all the time you need and get everything figured out, and we'll be waiting. But I wish everyone at Fullbright the best.
Yeah, me as well. They're a very talented team, and I hope they land on their feet after.
I think they will.
I think they will.
I think they will. So good news. No more bad news.
Okay, nice.
I guess it depends on your perspective here. 7 studios have been embraced. Right after we ended the podcast last week, 1:50 a.m. after we recorded, they embraced a bunch of studios. So the Embracer Group, who own Gearbox, remember they bought Gearbox earlier this year, THQ Nordic and Deep Silver, they just bought new studios, including 3D Realms, the original creators of Duke Nukem, and Ghost Ship Games, the creators of Deep Rock Galactic. Embracer Group also owns Coffee Stain Studios, who made like the Sanctum games, they publish a lot of indie games. They published Deep Rock Galactic. They also purchased Spygate Ironworks. They bought a VR studio, Force Field, Hunt Downs, Easy Trigger, Digix Art or DigiX Art, I don't know how that would be, and a mobile studio, Crazy Labs. So they're kind of divvying this up among like their existing companies. So like they're basically distributing these studios. Like Ghost Ship is going to Coffee Stain because they've already worked with them. So they're basically divvying these up into the sub publishers that they own, or into the publishers they own, as like, hey, you know what, we're going to put you where we think you're going to be the most effective, as a member of the Embracer, as one of the embraced. And just a reminder, for the Embracer Group, people don't think so. The purchase is rounded up to around 315 million USD. They spent over $1 billion to buy Gearbox this year, and so now, they already own Duke Nukem, but now you wonder, does 3D Realms get a shot at actually making? I don't know if you can make a tasteful Duke Nukem game, but can you make a Duke Nukem game in which maybe you take advantage of the current like hyper popularity of these old school shooters, and you can make a Duke Nukem game that doesn't immediately feel like a misogynistic asshole?
No, that's all Duke Nukem is. That is his character. If you make a new Duke Nukem game, that's not Duke Nukem anymore if you take that out.
Fair, but I feel like they're going to try, because Duke Nukem is there's still name recognition there.
Yeah, he was in Bulletstorm. Like he was the voice of, I think, the main villain in Ion Storm. I think, or the voice actor of Duke Nukem was
John St. John. I think it is.
Yeah. So it's like, I feel like if they make a new Duke Nukem game, they couldn't make it the way they used to, and I think that's a good thing because those games don't age well. I don't think there's a place for Duke Nukem in the world. Kind of like how Austin Powers movies have aged horrifically.
Is it bad? It's not bad. Is it bad that like when I watch them though, I still enjoy them for what they were?
I don't think so.
Like Austin Powers, you could definitely 100%. I haven't met like everyone agrees when you talk about Austin Powers. I feel like that's one of those movies that's lovingly looked back upon. but everybody agrees you could never do it. You could not do it right now. You could never make another Austin Powers movie.
I feel like finding that stuff funny and laughing at it, I feel like is this a similar thing of like Archer, where it's like it's a parody. It's very aware of what it's doing, and it's making fun of the bad stuff.
Yeah,
in a way. So I could see that. Like Archer is great, and
yeah, because like those Austin Powers movies are still fucking funny. Like, all these years later, they're really funny.
And it's like there are parts of like the Rush Hour movies that are funny, and then you hear like Jackie Chan say, "I regretted doing those movies," and it's like, I get it.
Yeah, and that's a shame because like those movies are entertaining, and it's just like, but that's the thing. Like, I wonder if because like you could make an old school shooter, you can make Duke Nukem the star, and you could kind of maybe almost reboot Duke Nukem into an action hero and not like a misogynistic asshole. I feel like this could be a reinvention of Duke and take advantage of that notoriety because they made that Ion Fury game, which aside from like one very bad Easter egg that they put in and removed during development, like that game has been very well received and respected. And so I feel like 3D Realms would want to take a crack at it, especially like with how popular those old school kind of shooters are, those retro kind of modern retro shooters.
Yeah, I have no doubt that if they made one of those games, it would be a success because I think it would be. I just think Duke Nukem as a character doesn't work anymore, period.
And I feel like there's one shot to reinvent Duke Nukem. I feel like they have one opportunity to try, and if it doesn't work, you never try again. But I feel like Duke Nukem has enough notoriety that he's afforded one opportunity to be a complete reboot separated from the history of Duke Nukem and just be like, look, he can kick ass and he can chew bubble gum, but like he needs to be, he can still be voiced by John St. John. You can do all that stuff, but he can't be what he was. You get one shot. I feel like.
I don't know. I feel like if he's not what he was, it's not Duke Nukem anymore. And just because something used to have a lot of notoriety and was famous doesn't mean it should deserve to get another chance necessarily.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm just saying I think that would be the reason why they would take the shot is because a new Duke Nukem game would get eyes on it. It would get a ton of media attention because all these people in the media played Duke Nukem,
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, so Embracer, remember, owns the likes of Saints Row, Dead Island, Time Splitters, and Metro. And we're also due for a new Saints Row in the future because Volition has repeatedly commented that they're working on a new game in the Saints Row series, but have offered nothing beyond that. We know that Dead Island 2 is apparently still in development. We know a new Time Splitters game is in development, and I believe there is a new Metro game in development as well. And obviously Gearbox is still making that Tiny Tina's Wonderland. So
Embracer Group continuing to consolidate the industry.
And Embracer Group is one of the biggest publishers out there. And the thing is people don't always notice because they subdivide everything between all their divisions. And so you think THQ or you think Deep Silver and stuff like that. But I have to imagine at this point, like they're getting close to as big as at least like a Ubisoft, if not bigger.
Yeah, very, very quietly going about it in some ways.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so confirmed, all good news from here. Forza Horizon 5. A hot new game coming this year, announced at E3. They said the world is going to be 1.5 times larger than Horizon 4.
Jesus.
Which is incredible because that game was already huge. And they re-emphasized, it's in Mexico, but like you're going to be able to drive around a fucking volcano, which is dope. But they said there's also going to be a lot more diversity in the world, like driving, like the moment-to-moment driving and stuff like that. They showed the map, like the wet season. They showed like a picture of the map. And yeah, it's a sizable chunk. Like it is not nothing. So yeah, it's 50% larger than the United Kingdom map, which was already huge, it felt like. But this thing is not. Like, they're just trying to be like, yeah, remember Oh God, what was that game? Was it Fuse? No, not Fuse.
Test Drive Unlimited?
Fuel.
Oh, Fuel.
Fuel, that big open world, like post-apocalyptic racing game. I always liked that game for some reason. I don't know why. You know they're making a new Test Drive? They announced a new Test Drive game. Hold on, you just reminded me. They're making a new Test Drive Unlimited. Yeah, Test Drive Unlimited Solar
Plexus. Oh boy, Chris has a concentrated face.
Wait,
on
hold on. Is Solar Crown already an existing? Wait, what? Hold on.
Oh no, the confusion. So, listeners, let me know: is the worst place to sweat like the under eyelid? Because it feels like the worst place to sweat.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Fact.
Okay. Thank you.
But yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like really cool. I'm really excited for Forza Horizon 5, and the fact that they're making the game even bigger and it's still going to look as good as it looks. I'm really excited for that game.
I'm excited to play that. That's definitely going to be at least a couple Tuesday night game night games.
Oh yeah, more than a couple. Yeah. All right, so we have the finale of our show. We're going to talk about everything shown during today's Nintendo Indie World Showcase.
Oh,
this is for you, Ross.
I completely missed this, so this is.
I thought you might have because they announced it yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah. So
didn't see that.
Yeah. So here's everything they showed off. Here's everything that launched today.
Mm-hmm.
Axiom Verge 2.
I did see a review pop up on my YouTube feed for that. Apparently, it's very good.
Yep, I've heard that. That is out today.
Yes.
Boyfriend Dungeon.
Okay.
Another for as backwards as Nintendo is, there's Boyfriend Dungeon in a fucking direct. Garden Story.
Okay.
Islanders Console Edition. Necrobarista Final Pour.
That's a great title.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And yeah, those are the ones today. So for Fall and Beyond, we have Eastward, which is from Chucklefish, and it's a post-apocalyptic adventure where a hardworking miner and a young girl on a journey. Where they're on a journey, I guess. It has like a kind of like an almost like not quite a Stardew look, but it's got like that kind of animation inspiration.
Chucklefish is the developer of Stardew.
Yeah, but this is from Pixpill.
Oh, I thought you said it was from Chucklefish.
Well, Chucklefish I think is publishing.
Oh,
and it's being developed.
Gotcha.
So that's coming out September 16th. Tetris Effect Connected is coming out October 8th. Again, Toem, which I feel like I've heard of before.
How do you spell it?
TOEM. You solve problems by snapping photos. That's coming out in the fall. Ross.
Yeah.
This holiday.
Okay.
Little game we're going to be talking about in January. It's coming to the Switch. How about a game about... All right, you're this character, okay? You're basically going in circles, okay? But there's deck building. Loop Hero's coming to Switch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Loop Hero. In a very obvious move, Loop Hero's coming to Switch.
It's a great fit for the Switch.
They did like a custom trailer, and they were like, this great existential thing. And they were like, and the Lich is just like, it's because Loop Hero is coming to Switch. And the Knight's just like, exclamations. But yeah, so Loop Hero is fantastic. And anyone who hasn't played it on PC should play it on their Switch because it's fantastic. I'm going to probably buy Loop Hero again. Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon is coming out this holiday, which looks like a Shovel Knight puzzle game.
Okay.
And then they did announce a couple games for 2022. So Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, which is the spiritual successor to Jet Set, as it were. That is coming to Switch in 2022. it's not often that music will sell me on a game that I'm otherwise completely disinterested in. But the sequel to Far Lone Sails, Far Changing Tides, had a track that just hit me like Journey when I was watching the trailer for it. And I was just like, oh fuck. I might need to buy this. I have not, like, the last game I bought strictly because of the music, and this is more perspective for Ross, was Dark Souls 3. When I heard the Abyss Watchers theme, and I was like, okay, I have to buy this game. Yep. So that worked out pretty well for me. So let's see if lightning can strike twice. I might have to pull the trigger on that. I might have to check out Far Lone Sails, honestly. And then Metal Slug Tactics is coming to Switch in 2022, which feels like probably a really good place for that.
Yep, agreed.
And then they had their sizzle reel for everything. But yeah, so that was a pretty big little indie showcase. Nintendo Indie World is what they call it. I keep calling it like the other stuff, but yeah, it's Indie World is what they call it.
Nice. A lot of good announcements in there. That's exciting.
Yeah, we got some dates.
Happy to see Nintendo constantly like continuing to make like dedicated shows to indies.
Nintendo continuing to dominate the press because they can and they will.
Yeah, pretty much.
They don't need Breath of the Wild to get a press cycle. They can just be like, hey, we have friends. Look at all my friends. They make games for me and I sell consoles for money.
It's very true.
I mean, that's Nintendo right there to a T.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to touch on today, Ross?
Not really. It's just Monster Hunter. I get obsessed with things. Monster Hunter is my most recent obsession. That's it.
Justifiable.
It's a great game. It will be in conversations at the end of the year this year, and at the beginning of next year.
I was thinking about Game of the Year again.
Sure.
We got away from platform awards.
Yes, we did.
Do we want to stay away from platform awards?
I think the biggest reason why we went away from platform awards because Xbox didn't have anything. So we didn't want to just have a Switch and PS4.
But they do now.
Yeah, they do.
You know, now fine. That game, I don't know. We don't have to do it, but it was just something I was thinking about because it's like, you know, to give, like, you know, because there's going to be a lot of Nintendo games we're talking. Excuse me, a lot of Nintendo games we're talking about. A good chunk of PlayStation games we're going to be talking about, and probably a good chunk of Xbox games. You know, it's just it's the most complete year in a while. Where I feel like they could be justified in being there. It's not something we have to do, but it's something I guess we just got to look at it at the end of the year and decide, hey, you know what, is there enough here that we want to do that? And then the other side of that coin becomes, do we want to do one for PC?
Yeah. That's a conversation to have.
Yeah, just something to think about. But like, it was something I was thinking about today, and I was like, man, like, there's gonna be a lot of games to talk about. And like, there's going to be a lot of games that don't win stuff that, like, I still want them to win stuff. You know? No, I don't want to make an award just to let a game win, but it's like, at the same time, it's like, maybe we can make sure Monster Hunter wins something.
Yeah, I think with us moving away from the actual website, I think we should have basically, we'll still have like the Game of the Year podcast series where we have all the categories and split it up into different episodes. And I think we should have a standalone episode where each of us go over our top 10 in order.
Oh, 100%.
About them.
Yeah, 100%. That's definitely. Yeah. And then obviously, you know, even though we don't have the site, we still put it out on like Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that of like, hey, I think we should do it like we did it last year where we broke it out by the game rather than by the award. And then like, because that made it so much easier instead of having to tweet every day and be like, okay, this game won this and this game won this, just be like, Final Fantasy VII won this and Game of the Year, boom, done. And it's like, cool, here you go, Square Enix, put us on your box, please. Please. You know, that was the one thing I thought about when I was like, we're getting away from the site. I'm like, my dream of getting on a box art is never going to happen now.
The dream is
was
dead.
my dream. I just wanted to be there. Game of the year, HalfGen. I mean, we could still get that maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a conversation to have. Cool.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for being here, for listening, as always, and we will catch you on the next one. Take it easy. Bye-bye.